Hi guys, I'm just doing a quick video here on the Hive Active Heating Multizone system. The reason I'm doing it is because I had the standard Hive system with the heating and hot water in my previous house, and I installed that in my previous house, and it was straightforward. And there was a lot of information available on how to install that. But when it came to the multi-zone system, there was a couple of aspects that weren't immediately obvious to me, and I found it difficult to find the information about it. So I just thought I would do a quick video just for anyone else who's looking to, install a multi-zone system or upgrade their existing Hive system to Hive multi-zone. So when we bought this house, it had a standard controller like this. Now, just a bit of a background on what the multi-zone system actually is. In a lot of houses now, modern houses, this house here is about 14 years old, so it does have a modern heating system. And a lot of houses, what you have now is you will have a zone for your upstairs heating and a zone for your downstairs heating, and then you will also have hot water separately as well, which from an electrical and mechanical point of view, it is essentially just a third zone. And how that works is you'll have a controller like this, and you can see here this controller has, heating 1, heating 2, and hot water. And on the back then what you'll have is, I can't remember the exact layout of these, but you will have the power will come in with one of these pins, and then there'll be a separate power output, essentially just a switch for each zone, and the hot water. So you'll have three outputs. And what happens is whenever the timer comes on, or you switch on the heating or the hot water on one of those zones, then the controller will send power to out through the relevant output. And what will happen is that will turn on a valve for that zone, and then once that valve is turned on, there's a switch in the valve that then powers the pump and the boiler. So it's called an S-plan system. So for each zone you have a separate valve. So you have a two-port valve in this house. We have two zones plus hot water. So we have three separate two-port valves, and they all operate independently of each other. And that's a S-plan system is quite, it's quite a standard modern system that you'll find in a lot of houses with a modern heating system. So when it came to the Hive system, the original Hive system I had in my previous house, it just had one zone and then hot water. So it had, two outputs essentially. So the standard one we have here, this came from the previous house, and it had just heating and hot water. Now what wasn't immediately obvious to me was how you then had upgraded that to Hive multi-zone. This controller here, which was in this house, you can see it has the three separate channels, as you call them. So it's a 3-channel controller, so it can operate two zones plus hot water just in this one unit. The problem with the Hive system, it's not really a problem, but they don't provide a controller like this. They don't provide, essentially what we would need here is central heating, and then a third one for hot water. But Hive don't provide that. They only provide these two versions, which is one is hot water plus central heating, and then the separate central heating. So the Hive multi-zone kit, whenever you buy that, it comes with a second receiver like this. So essentially, if we had another zone, we would need another receiver, and that's the first thing that wasn't immediately obvious to me. So you need to have two. So we have two receivers here, where we had one before. So that's the first thing that wasn't immediately obvious to me. So as for wiring that, it wasn't a direct swap. I had to, I'll lift the covers off these in a minute and I'll show you the wiring, but I had to, drill another hole. And in our case, it was straightforward enough, because, the whole system here is mounted on a piece of, chipboard, so it was easy for me to do that. But I imagine in some cases, it might not be so straightforward to install the second controller, or the second receiver, as Hive calls them. So that's basically the difference. That's basically the first difference. You need to have a second receiver, as opposed to just buying, there is no Hive version that will be a direct swap for your existing 3-channel controller. You have to buy the second receiver, and that comes in the pack with the second thermostat to place in your second zone. So whenever you buy the second the Hive Multizone kit to add to your existing kit, or you can buy your existing kit, or you can buy the two kits together. But in our case, we had one for a couple of years, and then we moved house, and then we bought the second kit to go with it. So whenever you buy the kit, obviously the first kit, this is the contents of the first kit. You have one thermostat here, one receiver, and we have the hub as well, which is the bit that connects it to the internet. That's just out in the garage in our case. Whenever you buy the second, the multi-zone kit, what you get then is you don't get a hub, you just get another receiver and another thermostat. So then what happens is this thermostat talks to this receiver, and the other, thermostat talks to this receiver. So it's quite smart. So if I go to this receiver and I boost for example, the hot water or the heating, I boost that now, you will see, I never use these thermostats, we always just use the app. So if I boost the hot water, just like so, push the green button, or the heating, sorry, you'll see the heating has come on. Or if I boost the hot water, you will see there, hot water now has also come on. And then I go to the other receiver, or the other thermostat, and it controls this receiver. And I boost the heating. And there's the heating has come on the second zone. Interestingly, on this one, because this thermostat talks only to this receiver and vice versa, the hot water button on this receiver does nothing, or in this thermostat it does nothing. The system's not intelligent enough to tell it to turn the hot water on this receiver, but that's fine. It's not an issue. Generally, we don't use these thermostats for operating the boost anyway. We just use the app for that. Likewise in the app, so that's the first thing you need a second receiver. In the app then, this is the app, it just appears as a second, you've got your hot water. Previously I had the hot water and the heating, so now we have the hot water, and then with two heating zones. Now obviously you can arrange these whatever way you want, and you can name them upstairs, downstairs, like so. So if I just stop the boost on all of these, that's them stopped. So I'm going to show you the wire, and the other thing that wasn't immediately obvious was how to wire this single channel receiver. It's wired differently to the dual channel receiver, which I thought was quite interesting. So I'm just going to power the whole system off here and show you the wiring. Now I've already loosened the screws on these, so these will just come off like so. Now I'll just say at this point, I'm not a heating engineer or an electrician or a plumber. I did install this. I just have an interest in DIY, and it's not to be honest, it's not for anyone with a bit of DIY experience. It's not a huge job. So this was what the original 3-channel controller was. So what I had to do then was to drill a second hole and then bring the power from this one into this one, and then bring what was we've got the downstairs heating and hot water, these two wires coming out here. So I had to bring those across into here, and then the upstairs heating wire then just stayed in this one. So that's basically what I had to do. I had to split the wiring across to the two, what was originally just in the original 3-channel controller, which was mounted here. So what was a bit different about the wiring of these that caught me out, and it was the second thing that wasn't immediately obvious that I wanted to include in this video, was how the power works on these. On this one, this is the dual channel receiver that I had installed in the old house. It's straightforward. You've got live and neutral comes in here, and then it gets switched out to your heating and hot water. I can't remember which one's which there, but one's heating, one's downstairs heating, and the other one is a hot water, and just a single live input and a single neutral input, and that powers the receiver itself, plus it sends the power out to the heating. This one, the single channel receiver, this is different, and this is what caught me out. you have the live and the neutral comes in the same as it does over here. So you've got your neutral there, your live there, and then over this side you've got the output. In this case it's just a single channel output for the upstairs heating. But what's different is you need to bridge the live into this pin here. This is labelled as common on the wiring diagrams. And what happens, instead of the live getting switched just from the single live input getting switched to these outputs, what happens here is this the live input to this pin here, to this common terminal, is what gets switched out to here. So if you don't have that in, and this is what happened to me, I had disconnected, and this connected, and it all powered on, and I was operating the upstairs heating, and the relay was coming on. I could hear it clicking, I could see the light coming on, but there was nothing happening. There was no power going out to this pin, and that's because the power actually comes from this one, common. So you have to just put a wee loop in here, and that's how you deal with that. I think the reason for that is for some boilers, the power goes to the boiler first, and then it comes back from the boiler. I'm not entirely sure. Someone could probably answer that question. But in the case of the standard S-plan system, you need to put that loop in. So that's it, guys. That's the two things that kind of an overview of the Hive Multizone system, and the two things you need to put this loop in for the single channel receiver, and you need the single channel receiver to start with. That's the two things that weren't immediately obvious, that I hope might help with other people. So that's it, guys. Cheers.